The topic of election-related fraud has been in the headlines more than usual this election. President Trump has tweeted about it at least 8 times in the past week. ABC 10 News anchor Derek Stahl is going in depth on the research surrounding voter fraud and just how much it happens.
There have been dozens of studies trying to gauge voter fraud over the last few years, and there are essentially 2 kinds of research. Studies that look at documented cases of voter fraud, and studies that try to predict how much fraud might be going undetected. Voter fraud can fall into several categories, including ineligible voting by non-citizens or by felons, or double voting when someone illegally casts more than one ballot. Voter fraud is cheating by the voters themselves, and it's different from other forms of election misconduct. Pam Smith is an advisor to the nonpartisan Verified Voting Foundation.
There's an infinitesimal amount of voter fraud where a voter is intentionally doing something fraudulent.
A major study in 2007 by the Brennan Center at NYU calculated the rate of voter fraud in 3 elections in the early 2000s. They put it between 3 and 25 ten-thousandths of a percent. The Conservative Heritage Foundation keeps a database of known cases of voter fraud. It now has 1,298 examples. That was over a period when there were more than 1 billion legitimate votes cast. But those are the known cases. What about cases of fraud that go undetected? This is an area of research called election forensics, where researchers use advanced statistics and artificial intelligence to try to estimate irregularities. One study by researchers at Harvard and Stanford looked at voter registration data in the 2012 election and used algorithms to estimate that the maximum amount of double voting was 0.02%, or 1 out of every 4,000 ballots. But they also showed that most, if not all, of these possible double votes could have actually been clerical errors.
Massive fraud on any kind of massive scale, as we've heard talked about, that doesn't happen. It's not happening, and there are safeguards, there are guardrails in place to prevent it.
Smith says California's guardrails include pre-election testing of voting machines and other equipment and audits after the election. There are other kinds of fraud called election fraud, like the illegal ballot harvesting in North Carolina's 9th district in 2018. But Smith says those cases are actually easier to catch because they typically involve multiple people. And in the very rare cases when they do happen, judges can order an election redo. Derek Stahl, ABC 10 News.
There's an easy way to protect your vote against fraud. You can sign up for the state's Where's My Ballot tool, and you'll get an alert the moment it's received and counted. There is a link on 10news.com.